One. Hello, you guys, and welcome to the Woman's Cave. I'm not quite sure what the camera's picking up today. It's been like, I'm slow because I got back into the state at 2:30 in the morning, and then I had to be in the studio, so I had to wake up early and drive down here. So guess who hasn't had any coffee, although she's allergic? I'm seriously thinking about drinking coffee today. I'm like, one allergic reaction, but being awake, yeah, it seems like an allergic reaction ain't so bad in the scheme of things. Anyway, I'm joking. I'm not drinking coffee. Anyway, I'm Winona, and there's a missing Jade. So since I have no co-host, you know what I'm going to be? Silly, tired and silly. I'm one of the Thought ladies, and we wrote books. Imagine that, a writer who writes books. Go figure. So the first one was And I Thought Divorce Was Bad. And I thought being grown up was easy. And I thought I could juggle it all, which I can't find right now. And I thought I did my journey alone. And I thought he was the one. And yeah, Hollywood, I'm still waiting on this one. Make it into a television show. And I thought I had it all figured out. Look, it's right there. Go figure. And then we have the Misfit Guides, and I'm missing my favorite book today. We have the Misfit Guides, the sassy sway that leaves crooked footprints, and the Misfit Guides, cocktails, soirees, and the LBD. Guess what, you guys? We're coming out with a new Misfit Guides. It's called Misfit Guides. Yeah, that's us. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. And my face is on the front cover. Ooh, you love it. Also, we wrote something like Foreign Coffee, and I am the author of the Widow's Debt series. I think that's it for the books. Now we move on. Magazine. You guys remember, you can pick up the copy of the 25 hottest authors, artists, and advocates, our little magazine, and Jade's baby. Please watch everything that we do and follow everything we do at andwethought.com, buy the books at amazon.com and barnesandnobles.com, and then since Jade's not here, you guys, watch our reality TV show. Well, it used to be TV. Now it's on Facebook. But, we moved from Amazon to Facebook. But you can still catch us on Channel 18 in Sacramento. So that's actually television, right? Yeah, that works. It's called Just Right in Life. And I think that's just about it. There was something else in my head, but since it's floated off with my 5 hours of sleep, I'm going to go wonderful guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, although I have to say you're a hard act to follow. So thankfully, I actually have props too to help me introduce myself. I'm Tracy Andrighetti. I write 2 different series, the Frankie Amato Mysteries. Limoncello Yellow is the first one, and then Prosecco Pink, Amaretto Amber, and Campari Crimson. I'm working on the 5th one right now. Fingers crossed I will have it done this year. It's called Galliano Gold, but yes, I like color, so I'm loving all of your covers. The And I Thought ladies have got it going on clearly. I also write in the Danger Cove Hair Salon series. I'll show you a couple of those. Here's Deadly Dye and a Soy Chai, a Poison Manicure and Peach Liqueur, and the latest Killer Eyeshadow and a Cold Espresso. So, the first series set in New Orleans because it's my favorite city in the world, bar none. That place has got it going on. And then the other one is a fictitious cove. So if you're into things like Debbie Maycomer and little coves, fictitious places, maybe that's a better series for you. But I prefer New Orleans because it is just a weird, wild, wonderful city. Have you been?
I have never been.
Oh my God, girl.
So my parents grew up during segregation. So when they tell me stories about the South, they scare the mess out of me. So I don't tend to go.
But you're in Florida, right?
No, I was in Florida.
Oh, okay.
A couple hours ago.
Okay.
So, yes.
Well, I mean, the South has its problems. Let's face it. But I think it's come a long way from segregation. So I hope you will visit. I think you'll find it just completely fascinating like I do. And it makes for great mysteries since you write mystery apparently also as well. There's everything there. There's voodoo, there's witchcraft, there's just big party scene, there's amazing There's like all these cultural influences, right? Spanish, French, Italian. A lot of people don't really realize Sicilians came through there, and that's sort of what I do in my books. But also just really interesting things we don't have anywhere else because of like the Haitian influence, I think, and also Native American Indian influence. So, for example, they have Mardi Gras Indians. These are basically, I think, I know African American, but I'm not sure like the specific origin, whether it's Haiti or places within Africa specifically instead of the Caribbean. But they basically got involved with the Native American Indians and created this whole interesting thing. I mean, there's so much there that we don't have anywhere else in the United States. So it's maybe, I don't know, it's not the city that everyone thinks it is entirely.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I have been wanting to visit for years. I have booked about 6 plane tickets and just never got on the plane.
Get on the plane.
I think I'm gonna get on the plane.
You can even take a cruise down the Mississippi River to New Orleans. I mean, you can get there a variety of ways. Even through the ocean. Do it.
I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I saw your books. You guys, audience, I was out of it, and I was like, I don't even remember why I invited her to interview. And as soon as I saw your books, I went, oh, that's why. Because I like limoncello yellow. That's what it is. And Jade is a fan of your works as well. That is exactly.
I'm so flattered, actually. I really am. Do you like limoncello, the liqueur? Because I have a great recipe I can share after this for not only making it yourself, but also limoncello mint sorbet, which is fabulous in the summer. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
I love limoncello. I accidentally got introduced to it at a wedding. Hence why I picked up your book. And then they were like, let's go to Italy. And well, go figure. They make limoncello over there. What was it? Amalfi?
Amalfi. Yeah. So you were there because I was just there in September.
Yeah.
It's the best. And I keep thinking I want to write a series there, but I can't quite figure it out. But there's lots of mysterious, bizarre things along southern Italy as well as the southern United States. So
it's a thing with the South, huh?
It is a thing with the South. The South everywhere tends to be a bizarre place. Like, maybe, weird, wild, and wonderful. As I said before about New Orleans, I think is the best way to describe the South.
So West Virginia, give up your tagline. New Orleans needs it. And they deserve it.
Yes.
All right. I said 15 minutes. I should probably ask you a question. So how did you get into writing? And if I don't quite remember, you're traditionally published, right?
So I went with a boutique publisher originally, Gemma Halliday Publishing, and she still publishes the Danger Cove series. She was still publishing the Frankie Amato mysteries, but I decided I wanted to try that on my own. I have a lot of author friends who self-publish, and they keep talking to me about, the crazy money they're making. It wasn't so much for me about the money as it was, I felt like I needed to reach other readership. And what I've noticed about being with a publisher is that you tend to only reach that person's readers, if that makes sense. And so I wanted to branch out because I think my books have a little something to offer most people. Not everyone certainly is going to like comedy mystery, but hey. I'm kind of proud of them. But yeah, so how did I get into this though? Well, that's kind of funny. I was actually getting a PhD in foreign language education, and I started writing my dissertation about an Italian mystery novelist. I speak Italian and can read it. And so I was writing about him, and I just kept being jealous of him. Does that make sense? Like, I was like, this like academic stuff is all well and good, but I like these awesome mysteries. And this is more, I just kind of thought I wanted to do it. And I'll be honest, I did not dream that I could even then. It wasn't like, oh, of course I can write a mystery. I am not that person. But I got out of grad school. A couple years had passed. I went to work for Apple. At the time, I decided to leave academia, and I was longing for that project, that thing that I could do. So I got into writing that way. And I need to give a shout out to Gemma Halliday because I actually did not intend to publish Limoncello Yellow. It was going to be sort of my practice book, my learn how to write book. But I entered it into a contest to win a month of mentoring from her, and I ended up getting a publishing deal out of it. So.
Oh, I need to interview her then if I'm going to get another publishing deal out of it.
Yeah.
One more would not hurt.
Yeah. Maybe you should hang up right now and call her.
No. You wrote Limoncello Yellow. You're most important right now. But after this, I'm definitely hanging up her. I need to behave. It's the 5 hours.
Yeah, it would be delirious for sure.
So what is your greatest accomplishment so far?
In terms of writing or just anything?
You can do both. I don't care.
I think the best accomplishment in terms of writing is simply that even though I really did not imagine that I could be a writer, I just sat down one day and started trying, and it turned into something, to my complete surprise. And so maybe outside of here, and I think just in general in life, rather than name something specifically, I would say just trying new things, even when I don't necessarily believe that I'm right for them. Because you never know. And I think women tend to talk themselves out of things. Oh, I can't do that. Or, I don't know. I meet so many women who tell me, oh, I'd love to write a book. And I say, what's stopping you? And they were like, well, I don't know how to write a book. I can't do that. And I'm like, well, we all had to start with the first word somewhere. So you can. And I think that's it. Just continuing to try those things that you're interested in, or maybe secretly want to do, and you've never dared to dream it or speak it out loud. Just do it. Don't go back. That's probably the biggest accomplishment.
I want to follow her up with this. You guys, if you're saying I can't, just recognize that Google exists. And as long as Google tells you how, you can. It's simply following steps. And even if you write a horrible book, it's a book and you're done.
You can take that horrible book, you can give it to an editor who is a professional, who can tell you, you know what, I see things that you can do to make this a wonderful book. And then you do them. And then you have your book that you shop around to an agent or a publisher, or you self-publish, whatever you want to do with it. But I think there's sort of a myth that writers write these perfect books. Some people write really great books without the help of an editor, but a lot of us, most of us, hey, we have editors that we pay to help us make sure they really shine.
So mad props to her editors. You remember my editors? I still don't like you, but I love you because you keep messing with my work and it's perfect when I give it to you.
Right? Yeah. Well,
I don't know how you make it more perfect. But I'm just saying, when I give it to you, it's perfect. When it comes from you, it's more perfect. Please forgive the anger and the process. I'm moving on.
No,
I have a 2-part question because I said I was going to ask 3 questions. So this is 3AB. My first one is, can you tell us a little bit about the traditional process? Because we do interview a lot of indies and we do interview a lot of traditionals, but us indies still go, oh, look at the traditional process go. And then also, if your grandchild or your great-great-grandchild was telling a story about you, what 3 things do you want them to remember and tell the family?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll start with the first one, the traditional publishing process. The best thing to do is to have a manuscript ready. Because you're going to take a finished manuscript as a first-time author and shop it to an agent. Why an agent? Because the agent is the one who can get your manuscript seen by various publishers. If you are submitting these blind without an agent, the manuscripts tend to end up in a slush pile, meaning they don't get read. But the agents have the relationships with the traditional publishers, and they can communicate back and forth with them, tell them how great your book is, and really get you seen. So you're taking a completed manuscript that an agent can read from start to finish and basically try you out. your agent will like an editor. So let's say you've written something, you've hired privately a professional editor, and you have it just perfect. The agent might then look at your manuscript and say, you know what, based on what trends I'm seeing in the market right now, I think you need to add A, B, and C to this book, or subtract this sort of subplot, or whatever, add this other character. They might have suggestions like that. And you have to be willing to take their feedback and incorporate it. There are a lot of writers who get really terrific feedback about what would make their book sell, but their book is their baby, and so they don't tend to like to make changes. You need to be somebody that says, okay, if that's what's selling right now and my goal is to sell to a major publisher, then I'm going to have to take that feedback and incorporate it into my book. But just to reiterate, do have a finished manuscript, because as a first-time writer, they're not going to just take a couple of chapters and take your word for it that the rest of the book is good. They need to see the whole thing, and it needs to shine. In terms of remembering me, really, and this might sound sort of like a weird thing, the number one thing I think I would like people to remember about me, oh my gosh, is this going to make me sound vain, is that I am just sort of a natural joker. I like to kind of laugh. I like to put people at ease. I think I like to be happy. I mean, who doesn't, for crying out loud? Because if you sit and dwell, which I often can do, there's so much to think about that could make me unhappy. I also would like people to remember that I am a huge freaking animal lover. I just took a ton of donations, I think 20 new dog beds to the Austin Animal Center over the weekend. I think I took 60 towels, a bunch of treats, leashes, harnesses, you name it. I think it's really, I think it's sort of a measure of a person, how they treat animals. If people neglect animals and are inconsiderate towards animals, don't care about them, how are they towards people? It makes me wonder. And then the final thing is that I love my family. And yeah, I'm putting that last. Sorry, y'all. I do love my family. I love family. I think that's reflected in my books, but in very ironic and ridiculous ways, because if you grow up Italian American, there is a lot to make fun of in your life and the way your family works. And I think it's important to be able to laugh at that. When I was younger, I couldn't always, you know what I mean? I took some of those things real seriously, and as I got older, I think I saw the beauty of it, the comedy of it, and the uniqueness of it. And I'm all about uniqueness. And so, yeah, those things.
All right. I love that. And you guys, I want to just add on the tail end of this. When she said about your book being your baby, I'm going to so be mean right now and pop all the bubbles of all you wonderful literary folks out there. Books are not children. Children go the way you want them to. But also, you have to remember that a book is a product, and a product can't sell unless there's an audience or someone who wants it. Supply and demand, people. We all learned it in business class.
Yes.
Gotta make those changes. Even though you're like, it just makes it so inaccurate and it doesn't touch with my heart. Sweetie, ain't nobody buying your heart. They're buying a book.
You're buying the book, and the book it's not really about you. You know, once you write a book and you're putting it out there in the world, it's not about you. It's about how it's going to affect the people who read it. And you want it to do that, right? You want it to resonate with them. And that might mean stepping outside of yourself and taking advice from somebody who really knows the business and the audience that your book is going to be marketed to.
Granted, so, yeah. On the other end of that, you can be upset with them for saying it. You can be upset the whole time you're writing it. Just do it.
Just do it. Right. Just get that book out there.
Okay, last question for reals. I'm sorry, I am really doing slang today. I'm really sorry, audience. This
is awesome.
Great. Where can people find you if they want to see you online? Or if you have any events coming up?
I do. So TracyAndrighetti.com, and you guys, I know that's hard to spell, but my dad wanted me to use his last name, and I did. Italian. So it rhymes with spaghetti. I promise you can find it. And then I have a Facebook page that's also Tracy Andrighetti, and it's like an actual author page. I'm gonna start Instagram one of these days. I have a profile. And then
yes, you do. I clicked on it and I was like, there's nothing here.
Yeah, there's nothing there. And you know what it is? It's that pressure to take that perfect picture all of the time that is overwhelming to me right now. I'm not that together. And then wait, what was the other question? Where can they find me online? And
do you have any events coming up?
Oh, I do. So here's a crazy thing. Because my fourth book, Campari Crimson, is a vampire-themed mystery, I'm signing at the Boutique du Vampire in the French Quarter in New Orleans. And believe it or not, that's on Royal Street, but they have a secret vampire speakeasy. You have to go into the oldest jazz bar on Bourbon Street and utter this famous phrase they give you if you go to the store. And then a guy walks you down a creepy, like, back courtyard from the bar and unlocks this old door, and you go upstairs and you are in this amazing 1920s Parisian themed speakeasy that sells vampire vodka, drinks, and other things. But it is a vampire speakeasy, and there are people who live as vampires in New Orleans, and you might see them there. Yeah, look into that. And then I'm speaking to a writers organization, SOLA, in New Orleans in October 19th. That's also the date of the signing. And then next year, this is so interesting, an Italian-American organization is flying me to South Bend, Indiana to speak to them. And I think there's other stuff coming up that I'm negotiating right now, but that's all I can officially say. October 19th in New Orleans and March 2020 in South Bend, Indiana.
Wow, South Bend, Indiana. How long has it been since I've been there? Wasn't that interesting?
Never been there. Yeah, I've never been to Indiana. Yeah.
No, I think the most fun is a mall.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other things. I was only there for a couple hours.
If you're paying for me to go, then I'm going.
Exactly.
I will go anywhere.
So you guys, thank you so much, Tracy Andrighetti. I said that right?
Andrighetti. I wish it was Gotti because it sounds like John Gotti, the mob boss, and I think people would remember that easier. Andrighetti like spaghetti.
Andrighetti, sorry.
Oh,
I'm just gonna call you Limoncello Yellow. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, I will go with that. I would like to be known as Limoncello because I love it.
Thank you, Limoncello Yellow, for showing up. And I thoroughly enjoyed
for having me.
So you guys, first of all, remember you can get all our books and everything that we're doing. That includes this lovely class right there on andwethought.com. And when you go to andwethought.com, go to the second tab, which is the ladies tab. Go down to the middle of the page, no longer at the bottom of the page, you guys. The middle of the page, and there are the 3 charities that we proudly support. And if you could take your time to give them time, knowledge, money, anything really that's helpful, please don't give them a smear campaign. They don't really appreciate it. But anything else, feel free to give that to them. And please, you guys, remember that wisdom. Oh wait, I lied. There's one more thing. The Thoughtful Book Festival is coming up August 31st. And the Thoughtful Book Award. So please watch that. Check out where you can find tickets at andwethought.com. Now, remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona. And hey, I'm going to do this for the missing Jade, although she's going to be mad because these nails ain't done. Bye-bye.